Good afternoon, my friends, and welcome back to the channel once again. Today we are at the trailhead for the Pinchot Trail in the Pinchot State Forest. We're going to be doing the northern loop of the Pinchot Trail. It's about a 10-mile loop. Now we're getting off to a late start. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but my plan is a simple one. We're going to walk about 5 miles into the trail, look for camping along a place called Panther Run, and then spend the evening and then have a nice easy walk out tomorrow morning early, do about 5 more miles. So we're in the middle of June, the mountain laurel is blooming, and this is supposed to be a pretty easy hike. You could do it as a day trip if you want it. It's actually part of a longer loop known as the complete Pinchot Loop, which is about 23 miles. But this is going to be a nice easy walk, and thanks for joining me, and I'll be telling you more about it as we go. So I'm excited to get going. Let's go hit that trail. Well, it's an absolutely beautiful afternoon here. You can see we just signed in at the trail register, picked up a little paper map, and the mountain laurel is blooming. The rhododendron is not quite ready yet. We actually got a few drops of rain on the ride up, but it looks like that's going to be about it. So I think we're set up for a wonderful evening, and can't wait to get down the trail here a little bit. Thanks for joining me for this hike on the Pinchot North Loop. Just insanely beautiful out here on the trail. There's butterflies flitting about. It's a narrow trail, and the mountain laurel, Pennsylvania state flower, with its white and pinkish flowers and just blooming in profusion, and it's just absolutely beautiful out here. I know I'm gonna have a great day today. Just loving it. Now, one thing I really like about the Pinchot Trail is that it's relatively easy for me to get to. This was about an hour and 40-minute drive. We're not that far from Wilkes Barre, about 15 miles, but it feels very remote. I think a lot of that has to do with the very narrow treadway and just the look and the feel of the place. I've never been on this northern section before. I have been on the southern end, and So I'm really looking forward to seeing how it's different, but it feels really wild out here. It's awesome. Mountain laurel madness on the Pinchot Trail. That's all I can say about this. Just miles and miles of never-ending beautiful pink and white flowers. Wow, scenic Pennsylvania. It's the place to be. So beautiful out here. Guys, I just stopped to take a break. I found a nice little campsite, nice little open space. Now, open spaces like these have been pretty rare along the trail. This is the first spot since we crossed the stream where you really have any opportunity to actually get off the trail. The trail is a straight tunnel. It's incredibly beautiful, but it is very tight, very dense. You got to keep that in mind. I'm not sure I would do this trail in the summertime. It's just going to keep getting worse and worse until you get into the fall. But it is like epically beautiful with all the flowers, and it just has a unique feel with the openness, and it's just really cool. So we're making good time because there's not really any opportunity to stop, like I said. And we're gonna have a little snack here, and then we'll continue on. But looks like we got some very fresh bear scat on the trail there. I just showed you. So yeah, they're out here. This is a large concentration of bears in this part of Pennsylvania, but you know, just gotta use common sense. We'll be fine. So the trail has changed a bit. We've gotten into a deeper forest. The trail's gotten very rocky, and we've gotten away from the mountain laurel. This is more like what you would expect, I think, on a traditional Pennsylvania hiking path, northeastern PA. Lots of rocks now, and watch your footing, but you know, manageable. We have now made it down to Panther Run, and you can see we're in a section of hemlocks, and there's supposed to be a few nice places to camp down here, and this is going to be home for the evening. All right, we have made it to Panther Run. This is Panther Run camp. I got my gear spread out. I'm gonna set up my tent, and then I'm gonna walk along the creek a little bit and take some shots of the creek, and it's gonna be home for the evening. It is exactly 6 o'clock p.m. The tent is set up. I'm going super simple with this hike. Nothing fancy. Just got a sleeping pad, sleeping bag, little pillow, my tent. That's it. The ground is very wet. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to make a fire. It took us 4 hours to get here, 5.2 miles, and then we're going to have about 5 or maybe a little less than 5 miles tomorrow. So this could be an early evening where I just go to bed early, wake up early, and that may be it. I really wanted to document the mountain laurel bloom, which we saw in the beginning, which was fabulous. But we'll see how the night goes. I am starting to get hungry. I might mess around with the fire again, like I said, but I don't think it's going to happen tonight because the ground is really wet. But we'll see. But let's go check out Panther Creek and get some shots. So hey, I was able to get a little fire going after all. Just a little fire. You can hear it crackling and popping. That's partly because I have some hemlock in there to get it started, and also partly because there's a lot of moisture in the wood. So let's talk about the hike today. So what were the best parts of the hike today? Well, I would say, first of all, the best part was absolutely the mountain laurel, which was spectacular, even better than I expected. The unique look and feel of the trail, the openness, the lack of big shade canopy trees, so much different than the old loggers path. The openness, the kind of, not like you had long distance views, but like almost like meadows. And I also like the fact that there were no bugs at all today, and there was like no poison ivy on the whole trail. So that was great. What didn't I like about the hike? Well, most of the trail was very narrow, almost like a tunnel, and which meant that there wasn't much option to walk off the trail or explore. Also, a lot of brush, so the trail is really growed up, and it's just going to get that much worse as the summer goes on. So I probably wouldn't recommend doing this trail in the summer. I mean, in parts you're just walking right through it. Check yourself for ticks real good. But now that we're settled in here at the camp, and we have our little fire going, I'm gonna make some dinner. And what's for dinner? Nothing special, just ramen soup. But that's my favorite when I hike. I like to go real light because, you know, if you eat something heavy, then you gotta go to the bathroom. And, you know, it's a simple, easy trip. Now, before I get too far into this video, and before I forget, I need to take the time to thank a very special friend of the channel. And you may have not known this, but on my previous video from the Old Logger's Path, I had put in the video description, at the bottom of the description, I had said if anybody can spot the Bigfoot in the video and put the timestamp, let me know in the comments, and I'll be sure to give you a mention on the next video. And the first person to spot the Bigfoot, which I slipped in there for about just a couple seconds, I do things like that every once in a while, was a very special subscriber, friend of the channel named Debbie. Debbie, you've been a super kind, tremendous supporter of my channel and my work. I'm very grateful to have you as part of the family here. And good job, good eye on spotting Bigfoot there. You never know when he might show up. So thank you, Debbie. And also, I believe Kate and Andrea also noticed the Bigfoot, but Debbie saw him first. Good morning, 6:30 a.m. and we have just left Panther Run. It was a beautiful night, excellent weather, sleeping by the stream, very peaceful, but I did not sleep well. I came across a bunch of ticks. I found a bunch of ticks on me when I got to camp, and even during the course of the night, I was finding them crawling on me, kept waking me up. So I don't know if I picked them up on the trail or they were just loaded up in that particular campsite, but I would be remiss if I didn't tell you about that and, you know, warn you about that. So lots of ticks there, and other than that, it's been a great trip. I'll have to check myself real carefully when I get home, but we are off to an early start, and looks like a beautiful morning, and we'll see what the trail has remaining. All right. So this half of the trail seems to have a completely different feel than the first half. This is much more of your traditional forest with a heavy understory of fern and a lot of oak trees. I just flushed out a whitetail, couldn't get them on tape, but it's a beautiful morning, and as the sun continues to rise, always beautiful to be out in the forest early in the morning. All right, so now we've reached this grassy road, and I'm going to change my itinerary just a bit. Now, if we were to continue down the road that way, that would continue the Pinchot Trail and complete the loop. However, if we go this way, it'll lead to an observation deck called Big Pine Hill, and it'll also save us about maybe a mile or so on the hike. So I'd like to see a view, so let's go that way and see if we can find this Big Pine Hill and see what it looks like. Beautiful spot here on the top of Pine Hill. It does feel like we're at the highest elevation in the whole region. The problem is there's a bit of a haze on the skyline on the side where you have the best views, so the views are kind of obscured. I actually like the immediate foreground where you have all these like scrub oak and like stunted trees from all this constant wind. But this is an awesome spot. Definitely going to take a break here before we make our final push back to the car. We are dropping downhill from the observation platform, and we're making a beeline right back to the trailhead now. And I think pretty soon we'll get back on the first trail we got on, which had some really nice mountain laurel. So I'm not doing too much filming now, but if we get there and the flowers pick up again, I'll film that one more time. We are back on the first stretch of trail we began on with all that beautiful mountain laurel. So I'm not going to do too much more filming from here. I want to say, take this time to say thank you, and I appreciate you for joining me on another adventure here in scenic Pennsylvania. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. If you have any comments or questions about the hike, let me know in the comment section, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. You know that. But that's about it here from the Pinchot North Trail in the Pinchot State Forest. So until next time, I'll see you on the trail. Gator out.